Hey everybody, welcome back for another video here on Vivo Garage. Today we are getting the engine compression tested, new starter in, and if all goes well, we'll be getting it dropped into the Goatski. So looking forward to this for a while, but definitely learned some stuff from the last time I put it in. So we'll be hopefully capturing that on video for you guys. But yeah, super excited. Hopefully all goes well. We'll be getting this thing in and one step closer to getting it running. So yeah, stay tuned. We are going to start testing the new starter. So I just got it installed, grounded and hooked up, just going directly to the batteries. I'll just be contacting the negative side to do it. And honestly, this is the moment. You know, nerves are a little high because I don't know. We'll see. But here we go. That is fantastic. So I'm gonna get some compression here. See what we get. Only getting about 80 on that one. Okay. Almost 90. $70. That's maybe 100, 105-ish. Now it's hard to tell, but obviously that one's the highest, so a little interesting. So I did some stuff, read some stuff on how to do it. Basically, because I didn't have any real oil circulating through the cylinder walls and stuff like that, I dropped a little bit of oil down each of the spark plug holes and then did another compression test, and that helped out quite tremendously. So I'm now getting pretty much at the bare minimum of what the engine says, which I kind of expected with that many hours on it. So at some point I'll probably want to do a rebuild on the engine fully instead of just all that, but I think it's going to be good enough. So I'm hitting in the low 150s. So yeah, really good. So I'm going to get this thing all ready to go on getting it dropped in. So some of the stuff I'm going to be doing that I learned before is we have this water hose here that's completely inaccessible once you have the intake on, because it does drop down. So I'm going to get this hose put on. We have the oil pressure switch right here. This harness plug is missing, so it's just a wire. So I'm going to cut the wire, connect it on here, and fasten it down as best I can, and have it sticking out the back as well, just so that those two things are way better accessible to get connected once I drop the engine in. So if you're dropping your engine in, just know that with the intake off, this and this are pretty much inaccessible unless you got tiny little arms and hands, which I really don't. But yeah, starter's in, it's grounded. We are good to go, so we'll get that process started. I'm also going to leave this off, the valve cover off, because it was just getting scratched up from everything. So I'll cover it up just so we don't get any debris in there, but I'm going to leave the cover off, and it just kind of gives a little extra clearance, but just so you can see that. We are going to start dropping it in. So as you can see, I got all the ground wire, the positive wire to the starter, that one wire I talked about secured for the oil pressure sensor. It's all zip tied up. I've already gone in and labeled all the hoses and such down there, so it's easier to get everything connected. So I'm going to take off the front motor mounts there on both sides. They just help kind of, if they're off, it gives a little bit better clearance to drop down on the inside. And then once I get it down below, I can zip them on real quick. Actually, no, I'm going to wait on that one because I think it's a little easier to maneuver it, if I remember correctly, in there. So, yeah. And then the crankcase or crankshaft sensor cable, I got that pulled up. And then there's some other various ones on the backside I got pulled up. So it's easier to do. I've got the throttle cable pulled out. And then I also wanted to make sure I've got the fuel lines easily pulled away and stuff. So when I originally was going to do this, I was going to have both manifolds in there, but I just think it's going to make it a little more confusing. I'm sorry, not confusing, a little more challenging to maneuver around. So yeah, we're going to get those mounts taken off and get it dropped down. One of the tricky things always is getting this to line up in there. And nice thing is this here spins pretty freely. But then, you want to make sure that your hoses here are out of the way and all that. So far it's going in quite nicely. Get all this stuff. Yeah, ooh, I'll take these out. I have my motor mount bolts in there, so we'll get those out just to kind of help. This works out for one person. So I learned to work down, but also have the ability to get the dry coupler together so that they match in there. I had it sitting there for just a little time, so I dropped it down just a tad. Once again, I'll bring it back out. So you can see I got that lined up in there nice. I'm just going to verify that we have all the hoses are not having any routing issues or anything like that, but the motor mount lined right up on both sides. I mean, I could technically bolt these things in, but we're gonna hold off on that, get stuff hooked up and all that, and then we're gonna try and get the exhaust manifold in. Probably do the intake manifold in first, just because that one's more of a challenge. So got the intake manifold in. It's just set in there, definitely not bolted down, and you can just see exactly how much clearance there is very, very little. So that right there is probably the most challenging thing. And then I still have access down here. I apologize. So that's where the motor mount gets bolted to, so I'll get that added on. I should have done that earlier, but it just dropped in so nicely. So I'll get that on both sides, get those in. Well, that's where we're going to call this video a wrap. Got the engine installed, it's bolted down, and starting to get stuff hooked up. In the next video, we'll go through getting it, hopefully started and all that stuff. But just in essence of time and all that, I'm going to call this one here. And in the next day or so, we'll get the other one released on the results and what we found and all that, hopefully running. So appreciate you guys' time for watching this. Comment below on what you guys think. Consider subscribing if this is the first time seeing it. Give it a like if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it. But again, appreciate you guys taking the time to watch, and we will catch you on the next one. Till then, bye.